Welcome back to the Boondocks Homestead. Today we're going to make some homemade cornbread. Now this is my own personal recipe that I come up with, and I have adjusted it a little bit since Tim and I have been off of a lot of sugar. So you're going to see me introducing some honey into it instead of all the sugar that it called for. I'm still going to have a little bit, but we're going to replace a little bit of it with the honey. I didn't want to go too crazy on taking all the sugar out, for the simple fact is then you have to make up for that consistency, and y'all know me, I don't like to waste ingredients, so I do a little bit at a time, see what I can get away with, right? That's what we do. And so far it's worked out. So I wanted to share it with you. I call it my Mexican cornbread, and I'll show you why here in a minute. Now, first off, I'm just going to put together my cornbread. And if that's all you want is just straight up cornbread, then use this recipe. Then I will add stuff into it to make it my Mexican cornbread. So stick around for that if you want to see that. I have preheated my oven to 400 degrees, and it'll cook about 20-25 minutes, somewhere in there. You just have to watch it. And I'm going to cook it in, I've already greased my iron skillet. Now, again, this is a half of my full recipe. I used to make a big thing of it all the time, and it's just Tim and I. There's no sense in that. We don't need to eat cornbread for a week. We really don't. And so I have minimized it, and now it fits in this pan, and it's just enough for us. All right? So let me get you down here. Okay, we're going to start out with a half of a cup of all-purpose flour. Again, I've cut this recipe in half, so if you want a full 9 by 13 or whatever, y'all go ahead and double this recipe, okay? So we're going to start out with a half of a cup of all-purpose flour, a half of a cup of cornmeal, yellow cornmeal, okay? And then we're going to do the sugars. It calls, my recipe, original recipe, calls for a 1/3 cup of total sugars, okay? So I put almost a little over a half of a 1/3, okay, in here of brown sugar. Let me get something to stir this with. And I'm not going to use quite all. Yeah, I'm going to use it all. So almost a little over half of a 1/3. You're not going to mess it up if you don't get quite, or you can put in the whole 1/3 if you want. But the regular recipe, if you don't want to use honey, it calls for a half of a 1/3 of white and a half of a 1/3 of brown. And if you're going to make a full size pan of it, then you would do a 1/3 white, a 1/3 brown. You with me? Okay, then I went over and got almost a 1/3 cup of honey because I ran out over here. So we're going to put that in there. This is so good, y'all. I mean, you probably have your own cornbread recipe. And even if you do, you need to try this because it is just super good. All right, so then we're going to put a half of a teaspoon of salt and 1 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, okay? And we're just going to put that in there with it. I've got 1 egg, scrambled up a little bit here, stirred up a little, whisk it just a little. And a half a cup of milk. Whoop. Then you can use butter if you don't have lard. I use lard. It's not going to change the taste very much. Don't use margarine or something like that. Well, if that's all you have, you go ahead and use it. But if you got butter, use butter. If not, if you got lard, use lard. You can also use vegetable oil, you guys. So it's 2 tablespoons and 2 teaspoons of that. Okay? And then stir that up real good. Now I'm going to get me a whisk so I can whisk that up. Okay. Now, if you just want cornbread with no inclusions in it, Okay, then you're going to put this in a greased 9x13 if you got a double batch, or put it in a smaller one like this and just do your cornbread. Okay, but I'm going to make my Mexican cornbread. So I chop up some jalapenos. I hope you guys can see this. I bet I had that way up here and you couldn't see it. I'm sorry. Too far to go back now, right? So I'm going to put in these jalapenos. I don't think I'm going to use all those. These are really hot. They were out of our garden last year, and I canned them. No, I think that'll be plenty. And then I use, let's see, that's about a cup. Let's see what that looks like. And I just have frozen corn. You can use corn out of a can. You can use your canned corn. I only had 1 can of canned corn left, and I didn't want to sacrifice it for this, but so I just grabbed some out of the freezer. Okay. And then I have some mild cheddar, and I just put about, a half a cup, probably a half a cup in there. Okay. And this is what makes my Mexican cornbread. It is delicious. After you get it stirred in there real good, you're going to put it in this pan. Whatever pan you use or have. Okay. So after you put it in this pan, you're going to let it sit for about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, give or take, okay? And it's going to thicken up a little bit, and it's going to rise just a little bit, okay? So we're going to let it sit here on top of the stove. Set your alarm if you have to. And then we're going to put it in that 400-degree oven, and we're going to bake it 20 to 25 minutes, okay? All right. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to get back with you, and you're going to see what it looks like. And you're not going to be able to taste it, but it is so good. And then we'll have some other stuff with it for dinner, okay? So don't go nowhere. All right, y'all. It's done. So I got it out. I always just put butter all over it. And we're going to try it. We're going to test it. And then I got to get over there. Our oldest son is here. He came over to visit. And I thought I would be done with this. But I'm not. So I really don't like cutting into it when it is hot. But we're going to, because I want y'all to see it, and then I got to get busy. It doesn't cut as good when it's hot either. And we're just going to use some paper china. We're not getting fancy here. And there it is. I really can't I mean, it's hot. So you really can't see. I'm almost done. I'm almost done with the video. So we'll cut it, and it's hot. I'm not going to be able. You want a piece of Mexican cornbread? He likes this stuff a lot. It's really hot. Ooh. All right. There it is. Y'all got to try this recipe. It's really good. I've been making it for years. And did I make this when y'all were little? I didn't make the Mexican cornbread when you were little? Okay. I've still been making it for years. How old are you now? 41? Yeah. 41. Okay. There it is. Y'all try it. Hey, and I'm also going to put the recipe underneath this video because I was telling you it was a half of a third, and I think probably got you confused. I got myself confused. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my recipe underneath the bottom, my half recipe, and then you can go by that. And then you can change it up if you want to use honey instead of the sugar. All right? All right. Lord willing, I'll catch y'all on the next one.